So it would be really a good idea to save now. Because you normally cannot do this, you have to use spooky magic. Thankfully I'm in power and possession of spooky magic, I think. Oh yeah, I am. It seems I got the same soft lock again. Well, this is most unfortunate. I mean, obviously the issue is some animation here that is halting the entire progression of the battle. Now, I have several options. I could just try and hope to get lucky, so that I get a first turn. Alternatively, I have to edit the battle AI once again, which I would prefer not to, because that is slightly more work than getting lucky. So I'll stick with the easy option for now. Namely trying to get lucky. But it seems like that is not gonna happen, is it? Yeah, it seems like the game is not giving me any kind of luck. So I have to like do the actual not luck based approach, which is like slightly annoying. Okay. So what are these even called? Molprower and Eric. That's really cool names, I must say. You know, interestingly, I think I can see where the AI is breaking. Like, I could probably fix it myself, but this is like very, very buggy, an approach. Like, somebody should tell Sega Chief, this is not how you do it. There's a reference that checks for the enemy ID, and because that ID was referring to the old enemy model, this obviously does cause an infinite loop. So that's kind of annoying. I mean, this is only what I've found at first glance. This might actually still not work. So we'll see. Well, thank you. What did I do to the game again? I mean, I didn't do anything to the game. The game did something unto itself. The game is currently in a suicide loop, and I'm trying to be the mental health professional here to get the game out of suiciding all the time. Metaphorically speaking. But, you know, game therapy is hard work. It's a long, tedious process that might still take a few more minutes to stop the game from continuously jumping from Empire State Building onto a parked car in front of it. That's no fun. Just not using the non-random. I mean, also you can't easily do that. I mean, it's not like you can just like take out a page of a book and like copy it. The way FF7's data is structured, you'd have to. I mean, what I could do is I could replace the entire enemy register essentially with the one that's non-modded, non-randomized, but that would kind of make this fight too trivial, wouldn't it? And also I wouldn't get to see the fancy new animations, the fancy new enemies, the enemy models. I mean, look at these spooky dragons. I don't think I can live without these spooky dragons now. I mean, I know they're causing a lot of issues, but choosing non-issues over seeing spooky dragons, is, I think, not the way to go. Like the game that's currently running, I cannot modify, so I would have to like close the game. But the good thing is I used a tool to save just before this fight, so this is perfectly fine. I can just close the game once I'm done editing the AI to make this battle not end in an infinite loop, and just start the battle again over. The issue is I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is causing this infinite loop in the first place. Oh, it is. I mean, this is not my first softlock I had. I've had, I would say, like, by this point I've had 4 or 5 of these. And they, I've already had to edit one by editing the enemy AI. The other ones I was able to bypass by just repeating the battle over and over again, until the enemies stopped using a certain attack or a certain behavior that apparently was causing the issue in the first place. But it seems that in this current fight, that's not an option. So it seems I have to do something else here. I mean, he doesn't technically summon them, they're already there, so that shouldn't be the issue. So I'm not sure if what I did right now is working, is going to work, but if not, I can, it's not a big deal. I can just try out a few alterations to it, and eventually it should work. So basically, every enemy attack has an animation ID related to it. And like some enemies don't have valid values for some animations, but it doesn't really tell you what those are. So I'm trying to figure out what the issue here is. Also, what did the other streamer do who had soft lock as well? What did they do to bypass this issue? Oh my god. Okay, so like this has not worked yet, I must say. I can do that, but that's like the ultima ratio. I don't really want to do that, because as I said, that would entail not seeing the fancy new spooky dragon enemy models, which I want to refrain from taking that step as long as I can. So if I can somehow bypass having to do that step, I will try to do that. I mean, if I have to revert back, then well, whatever, but I'd really prefer I don't have to. Oh, hey again, Desert Eagle. I mean, the rando is going quite well. It's just that currently I found an enemy that is giving me a lot of pesky softlocks that I'm trying to somehow get rid of. It doesn't seem like this is working yet. I mean, I suppose technically I could just make the non Ginatak enemies just do nothing, because quite frankly that's more or less what they do in this battle anyway. Just nothing. They don't really have much of a role in this, I think, so I could just try doing that. So what have you been doing, Desert Eagle, since you were gone for like a few hours? Gotten any sleep? Any food? Any outdoor activity? Any spooky witches you've encountered? Okay, so this time I get a different softlock. I get one that says I got a softlock. So I'm certainly seeing a change in here. Something changed, it's just that I can't really say it's improvements. you have to write problems to teach on in class with now. That sounds like actual work. Well, good luck with that then. I have a wow, this actually fucking worked. I think, yeah. I was able to bypass it, wow. So what is this materia? Oh, MP absorb. I now have HP as well as MP absorb, which I must say is quite neat. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the sometimes bigger challenge in running this randomizer is figuring out how to circumvent or overcome certain soft blocks. This is basically just a 101 problem solving meta game now. I mean, on the surface it says it's an FF7 randomizer, but in reality it's actually just some kind of hidden debugging bad programming challenge run. I mean, yeah, FF7 has surprisingly quite a few parts that one might use terms such as give you fields to describe. I mean, in comparison, I found FF8 doesn't really do that. FF8's story is I'm not really sure why I'm comparing them, but I feel that on a like emotional level, FF7 has a lot more going on, whereas FF8 is just some kind of what would I call it? I need to look up the words. No, I'm not looking for teenage drama. The word I had to look up was limbo. Not limbo as in the dance, but limbo as in like the religious hellscape thing. I feel like FF8 is more like a limbo simulator, and as I said, it's not in the dance limbo, but in like the eternal waiting for a hellfire simulator. Because in FF8 there is no there's not really much going on early on. You just, I mean, I'm specifically thinking about the entire orphanage scene where they talk about their background and how they all have memory loss now and don't remember anything. Like, that's all sad and all, but it doesn't really give you the same kind of feelings that some other games give you. It just gives you a slight dosage of a vague headache, and annoyance. Hey Asbeg. Acebeg, I have been good. How have you been? For the most part, at least I've been good. I've also been many other things. I mean, has anybody ever even partaken in Limbo? Like, to be honest, I feel like my only real experience with Limbo is from the circa 1996, well actually more like a 1998 game for the N64 Mario Party. There is a Limbo minigame in that. That is so far I think my earliest and also my latest, my only experience with Limbo. Dying in space. I mean, I guess that's true, but I also feel that that moment too is kind of protracted. Once again, there's a Limbo feeling. It's like a very slow feel. It's a different kind of flavor feel, I would say. I mean, what do you mean by all the bad things happening to them? You mean like getting killed? I mean, to be fair, you could say that about pretty much any work of fiction. That's not a book, because books I find are sometimes more realistic than video games. Like, or even movies or whatever. Because if, you know, if your characters just die, then usually that's not a very satisfying outcome. Like, if Squall died at the beginning of disc 2, or like somewhere in the middle of disc 2 or whatever, or somebody else died, like if like everyone died in FF8, somewhere in the middle of disc 2, then the plot would be kind of unfinished, and the end result of the video game would probably not be so satisfying. So the point you're making, that they are quite lucky, is kind of plot armor. I mean, they have to be lucky in order for this to pan out in any kind of meaningful manner. You know, I guess personally my biggest FF8 Fields moment is when you realize that I think early on disc 1, or is it disc 2, I'm not sure. But anyway, you realize that for the, I don't know, umpteenth time, Zell has been met with the terrible fate of once again not being able to get any hot dog in the garden cafeteria. You know, I could have gone back to Fort Condor a couple more times in between during the entire Cosmo Canyon quest, but even I have my limits as to what I am willing to torture myself with. I mean, this war game simulator has immense depth, I must say. I have not played such a strategically ingenious, astute, I don't even know what kind of genre this is. The simulation here. I have never come across something quite like it. The depth on this is really quite unparalleled. Not to mention the amazing graphics. I mean, they have like actual polygons, like it's three-dimensional. Look at the arms, they have like actual 3D shapes. That's just amazing. Yeah, I mean, the only time you have to actually do this is during Disc 2. During the Fort Condor Huge Materia quest. And even then you can just lose it without any kind of real implication. What the fuck is this? This is a very spooky attack animation. I don't like it. You know why I don't like it? Because it's giving me a soft lock, I think. I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to use this attack animation on enemies. But I must say, I don't like it. Hey Luke. I mean, maybe it depends on... I suppose it depends really on how you define common. I mean, the thing is, they're not actually using Ruby weapons worse than attack. They're using just the animations, so they are not actually ejecting characters from battle. It's just that because of how this specific animation works, if the character is not actually ejected from battle, this kind of gives you soft locks, which is really stupid. I mean, we could all write Sega Chief semi-angry, but also semi-flattering letters, something like that. Something less obviously aggressive, something more crude than shaking fists. Yeah, I think this randomizer came out only this year, so it's only a few months old, really. Also, for some reason, in the sound that the buggy is making, in like the background sound, there's like a repeating loop of a certain rhythm that is somehow just syncing up ever so perfectly with a real song, like an instrumental section of it, and it's really unnerving. Maybe the reason why that is that maybe the song was actually sampled out of this. Not sure. Could be. I mean, has anyone ever driven a buggy? Is this really the kind of noise they produce? Not to mention, is this really what they look like? I mean, it seems like all of this is just purely from the realm of fantasy. I mean, I don't think a car this ugly is possible to exist in the real world. I also think that they are burning toasters that make less noise than this thing. Oh, this is interesting, because I will be able to get quite a lot of items in this place now. And because everything has been randomized, it means that I will get quite a lot of interesting items. Hopefully, at least. Now... a speed drink, well, okay. That is slightly underwhelming, I must say. You know, earlier I got items as ridiculously outlandish, such as this thing I got cosmically. I also got a desert rose. I think those, and I got a flare. I mean, these things, except for the cosmic memory, which I could have gotten, I could get very soon in the original game by beating Lost Number. The other two things are very much very late game, but I got them very early, which doesn't really help me because I can't really make use of the items yet, but it's still interesting. Elixir, well, okay. That too, I would say, is a bit disappointing. Are you dreaming? Maybe. Twin Viper. Okay. You know, when I first played this game, I think I thought of all of these black-clad guys as some kind of drug addicts. Which I guess technically they are to some extent. You know what I forgot? I forgot to do the thing in the calm flashback that would later get me an elemental materia. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, let's play a song. I call this the Please Call Help My House is Burning melody. Oh hey Blue Harvey. How are you? So I think there's no reason why I shouldn't just go on and fight Lost Number already. You're working at a food store in current times, which is keeping you super busy. I can see that. I mean, what kind of food store is even still open? Like grocery store? Because I think restaurants, at least where I am, they only still operate on a takeout or delivery basis, which means that you can. I mean, you still have restaurants, but because there's no one coming in, I suppose that should make that a bit easier. I wonder if this was changed. The numbers were randomized. I actually really doubt it, but it would be interesting. Yeah, nothing was randomized here. To be fair, I think that's not too bad, because who wants to randomize this shit? I have a feeling that these enemies might also cause quite a few softlocks, but maybe I'm just being paranoid. You know, when you fight this enemy casually, it's quite a sad enemy, because you know, it's trying to fight from this chain it's holding onto, and then when you attack it and you take you cause it to take some damage, it falls down and it's like unable to climb up immediately again. I mean, isn't this just such a sad but also very true metaphor for life? I mean, even YT at this game is giving you the feels. You're making disabled enemies unable to fight you properly. You should feel ashamed of what you did to these poor enemies that are trying to do their best to like make some money in their non-unionized work environments, and you're just cruelly and without any consideration for their life and living standards trying to take benefits of their situation. So me, okay. interesting character name. Let's see Somi how this works. And maybe how this works. This is weaker than I thought. Oh well, never mind then. I do not think that I should be getting this little oh look, I finally got cheaper. I should be getting this little XP, AP and Gil. I can smell the poverty mod when I see it. Oh look, it's this poor, miserable enemy again. You know, surprisingly this thing hasn't fallen down yet. Didn't even fall down at all this time. That's interesting. There's actually more stuff you get down there. You still get one materia, which in the original game is the destruct materia. So for anyone who hasn't seen this yet, because limit breaks are randomized, FFVII is in the fortunate position to have learned Omni Slash. Isn't that just marvelous? Well, does he really need— oh my god, what's this? This is really a spooky basement now, I must say. Maybe even too spooky. I mean, I can tell that these enemies normally are the vampire bats. But with these explosive houses, it's even spookier. They did actually crash the game earlier, but maybe they don't do it here because maybe they have a different AI, something. At least that's what I'm hoping. I mean, also, what kind of question is that? Are you going to participate in the reunion? Like, what kind of reunion? The friends series reunion. The 10th anniversary pie eating contest reunion. I mean, you have to be a bit more specific if you ask people what kind of reunion they are going to attend or not. Oh, fire. Wonderful. That's just what I needed. You know, one of the things I really like about this randomizer is how every time you pick up some garbage, there is no tension and excitement as to which specific kind of garbage it's going to be that you'll pick up. I mean, when you just play the original game, the vanilla version, because you know every time what you're going to get, there is no excitement. But now that you have everything so nicely randomized, even the shittiest stuff that normally is just useless garbage is a wonderful can of just about anything, possibly. Yeah, I mean, Sephiroth is that. The person you just saw as Sephiroth is just Genova disguising as Sephiroth. Which I must say is probably not, in my opinion, this game's strongest plot point. I wonder what stuff he comes with. It seems like his stuff is not randomized. What is sore disappointment? Oh well. Sometimes you might just have to bite into the sour melon. Whatever. I mean, even more disappointing, Vincent's limit breaks are not randomized either, so he is really quite the disappointment. He doesn't come with randomized equipment, he doesn't have randomized materia, he doesn't even have randomized limit breaks. All he has is like randomized stats. But I don't know if really that's living up to the hype. I mean, you can do that. I have actually done so myself in the past. I have a video on my YouTube channel where Vincent transforms into not his limit break models, but like literally the weapons, which is strange, but kind of works. Do I think Crisis Core will be a remake? I have no idea. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes after I find myself some more drinks. Oh yeah. You know, to be honest, it has been quite a while since I've seen some truly outrageous enemy models. I think so far the biggest interesting thing was in the Midgar area. The enemy that normally is the one that teaches you Metro Magic. I forgot what it's called, Death Sweeper or something. Anyway, some kind of machine, but in this mod it was Genova, I think Death. So that one was really interesting. Downright spooky. What gets randomized? Enemies get randomized. Limb breaks are randomized. Character stats as well as character growth is randomized. And finally, item locations. The contents of treasure chests and so on is randomized. Ghost hand, wow, spooky. Wow. Apparently one of Cloud's limit breaks is gonna be Toy Soldier. That is marvelous. It doesn't even have a description because normally Toy Soldier is one of the outcome of Kate Sif's slots that you cannot get outside of that. I mean, to be honest, it's one of the shittier limit breaks. I am not sure if you've seen it, but it doesn't look very impressive, and more disappointingly, it's actually quite weak, so that's too bad. I mean, I guess in terms of limit breaks, so far, the unrivaled winner is definitely Red 13's level 1-2 limit break, which is none other than Omnislash. I mean, chances are that you're gonna see it very soon again, because I'll probably be using it very soon. Pretty much when Clark gets limit break again, which should happen quite soon. Oh hey, Ghost Wizards. That's nice. You know, it seems that if you randomize limit breaks, some of the animations really get messed up. And sometimes enemies' death animations are skipped. I mean, this is probably like OP, okay, but oh well. Why not flaunt what you have? So this looks like the enemy that normally should have been the dragon. I feel like I should maybe be a bit more careful. Because this normally is a somewhat strong enemy actually. Oh, he counts. But then again, I think Ultima was not necessary, but oh well, whatever. And here you see the magnificent toy soldiers attack. You know, surprisingly, this isn't as weak as I thought it would be. What the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? But okay. I mean, like, whatever kind of seat I get, this is ridiculous. I have, like, post-game stuff. I mean, I have no idea how this normally plays or when other people do this randomizer, but like, it seems like the game is trying to give me all the good stuff. I mean, I am armed to, like, till the Armageddon or something. I mean, look at the stuff I have. I mean, when I started this, I thought this might actually might make things a bit more difficult. But the way this is working out, it's the complete opposite. Oh my god, looks spooky though. Diet Yas. What an interesting enemy name. You know, one thing I noticed is that I think no enemies so far, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe nothing, no enemy has dropped any items yet, like through the entire playthrough. I think that is also kind of buggy, because I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. Oh well. Seriously, I'm getting a lot of really useful stuff here, I must say. I mean, this more than compensates for my second underwater materia copy I got not too long ago. This enemy is called Free, really? Like, okay, that's a strange name. Also, having a humanoid-looking enemy use an attack called Lay Flat is kind of problematic in a way, isn't it? But okay, whatever. You're hyped for for Sega's FF8 mods? Do you know when it's gonna be released? Did he just learn something? Oh my god, what did he just learn? He has like a second limit break he learned. I'm kind of worried, anxious about using it, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna just crash the game. But this is gonna be interesting. He just learned an invisible limit break. Like, the title doesn't say anything. That must be interesting. Just ignore the enemy still being on the battlefield. That's perfectly normal. You know, normally this is elemental materia, but wow, it's quadro magic. Okay, like, I mean, okay. So I'm just going to combine this now with quadro magic Ultima, and I have like a full-blown killing machine, because the game was already too easy, but you can always make it easier, I guess. I am not sure if I should use this before I save. I think I shouldn't do that. Too risky. I mean, it's not like I have to use these things, but being giving all of these things is kind of interesting. I mean, you don't like being given too good stuff too early. I mean, I can see what you mean. It kind of defeats the challenge aspect of it. But it's also, I mean, it's kind of fun to be overpowered early on. I mean, normally you do not get any of this stuff until very late game, so this is a completely new experience for once. Just trying to play the game as if you're some kind of 1997 kid with a Game Shark device. I never got to experience that, so this is like my first time feeling like this. And I think it's kind of fun, actually. So let's see what this does. I assume it's just gonna softlock something, but who knows? Oh, not enough MP. That is kind of underwhelmingly disappointing. I was expecting a little bit more drama. Oh, okay, this is boring. Oh well. So, I guess I'm just gonna see how this boss fight goes, no? Okay. To be fair, this doesn't look quite as exciting as I would have hoped it would be. Also, an enemy called Gimp is always very exciting. And I think I already have a soft lock here, because nothing is happening. Okay, that's too bad. Maybe I have to retry that. It seems like I might have to change AI again. I get the feeling nothing is happening now either. Okay, alright. Let's see what I can do about that. So I'm gonna change all the animation IDs to 0, 1. Because usually that's something that works. I mean, it might look kind of silly. Not sure what it will do, but oh well. This is what I did when I couldn't get past the softlock against Ginatak. I hope this is the easy solution fix. Oh yeah, it is. I mean, you don't actually get to see any attacks now, but apparently just use the enemy's skill trine. Because it said I learned it, so and you could see some HP going down. Alright. Well, this was not too hard, was it? Except for the softlock, of course. I get the feeling that this is not the amount of XP or AP you normally get. Like, somebody call Sega Chief and tell him I probably made something in the configuration, like some kind of mistake, but this is the pinnacle of everything that has been poverty in my previous playthroughs. Like, you're getting 423 XP. Like, what the fuck is this? It doesn't seem like you should be getting this little. And I get my second Bahamut Zero materia. Okay. That is very cool, I suppose. Well, it wasn't just any bird, it was a bird called Gimp. Or Jimp, not quite sure how you pronounce that. So, it was like a very deep battle. I am getting 9 AP here. I think something is seriously broken. Let me check. Why am I getting 9 AP and 9 XP? I really do not think that you should get 9 XP this late in the game. What could I possibly have done? Oh well, I can't quite figure out what the issue is. But, okay. Guess I'll just have to live with it for now. You know, I would say an RPG randomizer to some extent is like Christmas Eve, or a simulation thereof. You get to experience all the funky stuff packaged into poorly wrapped presents, and the excitement of finding out what kind of stuff you get. You know, Rocket Town is actually, I think, the place in FF7 with the most toilets, bathrooms. I'm not really sure if there's some kind of deep meaning behind that. But if you were to systematically go through all the FF7 towns and count the toilets you see in them, Rocket Town would be number 1 by a landslide. I mean, they have so nicely decorated bathrooms in this town. What a shame if something happened to them. Normally you get Cloud's Yoshiyuki weapon from doing this. I wonder which price this will net me now. Maybe a potion. Oh, a Gatling gun? Oh well. Wasn't too far off. Oh, I once again am lacking in the guild department. Hey Walter Pickles, how are you? I think now's the time to sell useless garbage. Such as, one of this. One of this. Definitely one of this, and one of this. Interesting. I mean, I'm not even sure if every house has a bathroom, but practically everyone has. I mean, if you compare this to the other towns in FF7, you'd be hard pressed to find pretty much 2 houses in a town with a bathroom. I mean, if this town wasn't already called Rocket Town, they could also just call it Bathroom Town. But I suppose that compared to Bathroom Town, Rocket Town might just have a somewhat more appealing name. Oh hey Windows, do you have a quick, maybe 3-question test to find out with absolute certainty if someone you suspect might be the real Kindness is the real Kindness? You know, I must say it has been quite a while since I last had ice cream boats. Even though I think I'd still be able to answer that question. You know, when it comes to cake though, I don't even know what kind of answer you're expecting there. Did I ever have a clear cutout answer to what is the best cake? Because I'm having a hard time trying to think what I was thinking. If I ever felt so strongly about a certain kind of cake. Maybe I've just grown up in the cake department. Because, you know, these days, I'm not sure if I would call cake that comes out of a freezer very good cake. I mean, it seems you might be able to pass off as kindness better than I can these days, because I really cannot seem to think. I really cannot see how one should answer this cake question. Oh, I see. So there is no definite answer. Well, that's kind of a relief to find out that it's not like I lost my cake opinion. I just never really had a strong one, it seems. Did you know that recently I've been making my own cake? I have done the impossible and like literally baked cake my own, like in my own kitchen. With my own kitchen tools, I was able to produce out of thin air, out of the labor of my hands, my cake baking hands, I have made like physical, edible, not terrible tasting cake. Oh hey Jafie, I have been good, I suppose. How are you? I mean, actually, I have made cake not only once, but I think so far over the last couple of weeks and months, like maybe 5 times. I mean, to be fair, it's always the same cake I've been making. Some kind of weird, overly egg focused cheesecake, which doesn't actually involve any real cheese. But apparently you can still call it cheesecake. I don't know if custard cake is a real cake name. Oh, you've been trying to cook more stuff yourself? So, what have you been cooking yourself? You know, because I think cooking is, I don't know. It seems like a pretty elementary thing you can do. When I started doing it myself, I realized that it's kind of not even difficult. It takes time, but I would call it fairly easy. Bolognese sauce. I see. It seems that we have different views on what it means to cook things, I would say. Oh, that's a nice name, by the way. I am fighting the mystical font. Wait, is this supposed to be happening? Like, we haven't even fought yet, and the battle seems to be ending. This is a new low even for this mod. Like, it didn't even let me attack him. Wow. I am not sure if that's what should have happened here, but alright. Maybe it's a soft lock though, not sure. I'm getting a feeling this is not what's supposed to be happening here. Okay, another soft lock, I guess. I guess I should save again next time. You know, I don't think that's how it works, because if his health had been at 0 at the beginning of the battle, then he would not have died. I mean, if an enemy has 0 HP, that enemy is basically invincible, because in FF7 you die not if your HP is 0, but if your HP drops to 0. So if it already starts out at 0, because it cannot go any lower than that, you first have to actually give them more HP, you have to heal them in order to kill them, in order to reduce the HP to 0. Or maybe I should actually look into the AI to see what might have caused this to happen. The Palmer just dies out of nowhere, I think. Well, that's a very good question. What does the randomizer randomize anyway? So you can configure it yourself to have like the randomizer up to your proportional to your preferred likings, and the way I set it up is that it randomizes limit breaks, characters' starting stats, and the progression throughout levels, so the stat growth curves, item locations, so the contents of treasure chests and what enemies drop, etc. have been randomized. And also the actual enemy models have been, the enemies have been randomized. but not everyone, because apparently there would have been some issues. So, for example, bosses, for the most part, are left unchanged. But as I said, only to certain limits. And I'm currently still trying to figure out why what happened earlier with this boss happened. I mean, considering that the enemy is still the same, I'm really not sure. Why this happens? Interesting.